G'day, I'm Ash. This is the 1.83 dev server. Today we're going to be taking a look at the many changes that come to ground forces. Some good, some bad, and well, as per usual, we'll take a look at some of the vehicles that they've added. And well, there's 3 new vehicles to be added to this version of the dev server. The T32 E1, the Su-57B, no, not the aircraft, there is a tank destroyer that's named the Su-57. As much as I'd love there to be an Su-57 in War Thunder, oh boy. There is a modification for the TATB, and then there is a Type 75 multiple launch rocket system for Japan. So, ooh, another derpy vehicle for Japan. Well, it's much needed. But before we get into some of these things and some of the many other changes, do check out the patch notes down below in the description. I highly recommend that you read them. I will be skipping over some certain aspects, so be sure to check them out. And as per normal, the content you see here today is not final and is subject to change, and will be changed impending final release. Flight models and or damaged models will be updated and published on final release. So there you go. With that out the way, this is the TATB, and it looks kind of, you know, bland and like it's missing something. And I think it needs some more jewelry. So if we go into the modifications, as listed here, there is now a TATB armor ERA add-on. So if we install this, make sure we install the okay, we can only have the smoke grenade or the armor. So I'm probably going to go for the armor if I get this vehicle. I think most people will too. It removes the smoke grenade launchers, although they're still visually present, and it adds the Contact 1 dynamic protection on the front. This is to stop certain shells. I'm not entirely what kind of shells. I think it's HEAT-FS shells. Using the explosive charge to dampen the damage done to, well, the warhead that's coming in at you. One of the things I noticed about playing this vehicle a lot is that any shells that land directly near the turret tend to take this vehicle out. As, you know, an X-ray, you've got basically 2 crew, and if they get knocked out, you're basically dead, Jim. A decent addition. And, well, I certainly will be enjoying this one, because I like the TATB. It's one of the few Russian tanks I actually have, if I'll show you my tech tree here. We scroll all the way down, and, well, it's the only 10.0 vehicle I've got. But don't tell anyone, I really like it. This is the T32 E1, and America's finest heavy tank. Not really, it's a new addition that America gets at rank 5 battle rating 7.0, and it has different armor profile compared to the other T32. It's got an extra sloping at 58 degrees on the front. It's like an extra welded wedged cheese on the front. They've got removed the weather canopy on the front of the gun mantle here. It appears that it's slightly more beefy, but the hull armor is 127, 76 and 50 mils. Turret armor is 298 millimeters on the front here. It's got 152 on the sides, and well, at the rear of the turret, it is 152. Again, pretty similar to the T32. For those of you who are looking for a better shell, maybe, for the 90mm gun, I can't really see any difference between both variants of vehicle. I have a feeling it's just mainly the armor profile, and it's another vehicle that you can unlock for the Americans. As you can see, it sits here. It's in a folder with the other T32. What's different about both of them? Not a great deal, to be honest. Turret armor is virtually identical, and I have a feeling that is kind of a bug, because it looks like they've welded a shoddy amount of armor onto the front here. So maybe that is a little bit of a bug. But for those of you who are looking forward to a new T32, yeah, this is it, I guess. Now, there are plenty changes coming in the ground vehicle model, damage model, and characteristic and weaponry updates and changes. So, starting off with some of the key highlight things, I'm not going to read out everything. I highly suggest that you click on the link in the description and go read for yourself, as it's a lot of reading, and there are quite a number of changes to tanks. This thing, the AEC Mark II has had its top speed decreased from 78 kilometers to 68. A shame, really, but this vehicle, certainly a lot of fun. I don't think it will be affected too much as this is an event vehicle. There are other changes to the vertical elevation speed of cannons for tanks and self-propelled guns, where guidance was done manually with a shoulder rest, has been increased. for cannons of calibers up to 40mm at 15 degrees per second, and for cannons of calibers between 40 and 57mm have been increased to 10 degrees per second. This includes for Great Britain, the A13, the Crusaders, the Churchills, Tetrarch Mark I, the Daimler Armoured Car, the Valentine Mark I, the Cromwell Mark I, and of course the AEC Mark II. For Japan, the Aigo Ko, the Hago Commander, the Kini, the Kami, the Chiha, the Chiha Kai, and the Chihi, and the Rogo have also been updated. France, the AMC 34YR, the AMC 35, the FCM 36, the H39, the H39 Cambrone, the H35, the R39, the AMR 35, the S35, the B1 BIS, and the B1 TUR. For Germany, it's the Panzer 2C/F, and the Panzer 35T, and the Panzer 38T. Now, Russia gets one of the most derpy looking vehicles ever. This is the Su-57B. No, it's not a supersonic aircraft, unfortunately, and no, it doesn't carry air-to-air missiles and various other bits and bobs. But this is basically Russia's Hetzer, and it's quite cute. It's an attempt to update the Su-76 series based on a chassis that is kind of lengthened and slightly widened, just to fit a 57mm cannon. It's a ZIS-4 cannon with 72 rounds, and it's a hard enclosed vehicle, unlike many of Russia's other tank destroyers, well, apart from the ISUs and the bigger tank destroyers, but this thing is quite cute. It's a rank 3 battle rating 4.0, and the Blatmobile, I'm going to call this one, it doesn't have a Russian log, therefore it must not be authentic at all. It's got a hull armor of 25, turret armor of 25, sides and rear are 16mm, and, well, it's got a crew of 4, so not exactly the best vehicle, and considering it is rather low to the ground, it may have some potential issues when it comes to facing certain terrain. But it's a max speed of 40 kilometers an hour, and I think this thing will be a fantastic little fun derpy vehicle. A bit like the ASUs, aren't they? They kind of loved within this game, aren't they? It's got an interesting selection of Russian camouflage, and that's really it. A fun little vehicle, that's for sure. I can't see it really being overly useful, but it does get 130 millimeters of penetration. Sorry, 134 millimeters of penetration at 100 meters. An average for a Russian tank, but I can see this thing being used in meme compilations all over the interwebs. And, of course, we're going to move on to the last but not least. This is the Type 75, a Japanese rank 4 battle rating 7.0 premium vehicle that costs, hold on to your seats, 8,200 golden birds. A rather heavy investment for a vehicle of this type. Considering it is a first, it is a multiple launch rocket system, or MRLS, for those of you who are abbreviation savvy. It's a tank that really doesn't have much armour. There's not really much to say. It's got 12mm at the sides, 20mm at the front, and that's its maximum. It's got a machine gun, and, well, even at the rear it's got 20mm, and it's not really the greatest. I'm not going to bother with the protection analysis, because, again, anything with a 50 cal or some variant of a machine gun will be able to penetrate it, so there's that. You've got 3 crew, you've got a commander, a driver, and a gunner, and, well, a turreted primary weapon, which is the 130mm Type 75 rockets, and they have 30 of them in the racks here, and it's quite impressive indeed. But with a top speed of 50 kilometers an hour, this thing could be quite hit and run. But again, it's let down by the fact that it has a terrible penetration. Even though it is 130mm surface-to-surface missiles, these only have 50mm of penetration, so you'll be aiming for weak spots. But again, it's a premium tank. It's a first for War Thunder. Quite interesting indeed. Let's give it a test drive. There's an M24 here. We fire on the move. Yes, we can, and we can hit and we can penetrate everything, because again, it's a light tank. And there we go, we've destroyed targets. Now, See, how far can this thing elevate? Obviously it's a multiple rocket launcher system, so if I was able to fire... Holy hell. If you're lucky, you might be able to... If you're lucky, you might be able to knock out an aircraft or two or something. There go the rockets. There is no gun camera, sadly. Let's see, what is the traverse like? Traverse isn't too bad. Okay, so it's like 70 degrees on left and right. I think the issues come when we start hitting more armoured things. Especially at distance, because it's only got 50mm across the board. But again, being able to put shots down range like this, you won't be able to take too many shots, that's for sure. But if you can put enough damage down range, you should be able to achieve most things. And that's pretty much it for ground forces. I highly recommend that you read all the patch notes and see what has been changed out of your favourite vehicles. My name's Ash, thank you very much for watching, and now I've got to go trundle and be a sailor, something that I'm not particularly good at. There is hundreds of new vehicles, and, well, access to certain vehicles have been added. We've got Great Britain and their naval class destroyers and gunboats and torpedo boats and light cruisers and... Oh, it's all a blast, and I'm going to go have a look at some of these vehicles and see if it's actually worth making a video on. Probably not, because I'm not really a naval nut. But in any case, my name's Ash, thank you very much for watching, and please, Guardian, give me more aircraft. I'm getting itchy for more aircraft. Yeah. Anyway, catch you next time.